All right, what is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. It's kind of weird, right? Not doing a live show. Most of my content is all live. This one, a recorded show. Yes, we are in the heart of the playoffs. Yes, there's a lot going on. But I do want to take a second to talk a little bit about what happens after the Lakers, however long this team obviously goes in the postseason. What happens in the offseason? What are the clear needs that we watched from the Lakers since the NBA trade deadline passed and we knew the Lakers couldn't get anybody else? Obviously, they made the big trade of Luka Doncic. And watching them to today, what are some of the needs that are going to be most important? That's what we're going to spend on this video. I think as we watch the Lakers to close out the regular season through the playoffs so far, there are obviously some glaring things that the Lakers will have to address in the offseason. If they become true championship contenders, maybe one of the favorites to be championship contenders. And they also got some, other question marks in the offseason. I think for everybody, we kind of all know this and we all understand this. And this is where I'm going to start off the show. And I appreciate you guys hanging out here. Really appreciate you guys watching this recorded video. I want to spend some time looking at what players are available in the offseason that we think are realistic, and some other names that have probably been thrown out there, maybe not as realistic, and some names that you've certainly heard their name over the course of the last couple of years as far as trade deadline goes. This is not breaking news to anybody. The Lakers have to address their lack of size in the offseason. Look, we know they were trying to do this right before the trade deadline. And I think they had the right person in mind, the right style of player, the right type of player. We know exactly what the Lakers were clearly trying to do. They're trying to go get Mark Williams. They thought they had Mark Williams. They did have Mark Williams. And then they decided, let's pull out of this because of health concerns. But that style of player, there's a reason why the Lakers were looking for a player like that. They felt that that would accommodate exactly what they need in this championship potential playoff run, and exactly the type of player that Luka needs with him. It didn't happen. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. And, for however far the Lakers go in the postseason, obviously there's always going to be that want and that need of, should they have done that? Should they not have done that? Well, frankly, we'll see how far the Lakers go this playoffs, and then we'll see what they do in the offseason. I think it's going to answer that question. So something to keep in mind there. Let me just throw a couple names out there of players that could be available or will be available in the offseason. And then again, this is just talking about bigs. That's all we're really talking about here. I don't think we're really paying attention to anybody else. Here's a couple names. Brook Lopez. Okay, that's a name. Clint Capella. Okay, that's a name. Miles Turner. Okay, that's a name. These, again, are guys that we know are going to be available this summer, and something to keep in mind. Miles Turner. All right, Miles Turner's name we've heard a ton as well over the years. I feel like Miles Turner has already played 3-4 years with the Lakers for how much he's been, obviously brought up. Now, not all these guys are unrestricted free agents. Some of them got player options. Some of these guys also, there'll be some questions around them. I know I saw a couple other names as well. Steven Adams' name has come up. Nick Claxton's name has come up. Kind of realistic options for the 2025 season. Some other names as well. It's going to be tough. I mean, do I think Naz Reid is going to stay with Minnesota? Probably, or he's going to go get paid somewhere else. I've seen Jalen Duran from Detroit, his name come up. Do I think he's going to stay where he is, or Detroit's going to do everything they can to keep him? Probably so. Looking at realistic targets for the Lakers for this upcoming offseason, I'm already starting to take a look at it. It doesn't matter what happens the rest of this year. I mean, it does, but I'm saying that no matter what happens, they're still going to need to address that part of the roster for the Lakers. And clearly, as you look at some of these teams, I think there's probably a ceiling to where the Lakers can go this year based on the current construction of their roster. And frankly, I think we all kind of knew that. I think that was always something that we had in mind, that we always kind of understood. But that's not the only question, by the way, Lakers are going to have in the offseason. There's going to be other questions as well. But something to just kind of keep in mind here, as I mentioned, some of the different players that the Lakers can look at. Is Steven Adams the answer for the Lakers? Is that the answer? I don't know if Steven Adams is the answer. I imagine, for him and his role, is that the player that you want with a Luka, or is that just an enforcer that you want to have on your team? I think in a perfect position, you take Jackson Hayes, who clearly has limitations. I mean, we're seeing it through the postseason as well of how much they're using him. But you look at a guy like Jackson Hayes, and you decide with Jackson Hayes, he's much better off being a guy that comes off the bench, not a guy that's starting for the Lakers. I don't think Steven Adams is the answer as your kind of day-to-day. I think more of an enforcer that's coming off the bench. Okay, maybe that's a little bit more interesting. Clint Capella, I think, can play a much more effective lob threat role. Not really. I think you got to kind of look at, it's probably been years since he's played that type of a role. And plus, he's at an age now where I'm not sure if the Lakers are looking for somebody older. I think the third name, which is not, like a crazy long shot or anything along those lines, Nick Claxton is interesting to me. I think that's somebody that, could potentially be a player that the Lakers look at. I like his age. I like where he is kind of in his career. So there's another player that the Lakers will clearly, as you pay attention to what the offseason looks like and some of the needs that the Lakers are going to have, I definitely think that's a player that can come into mind. There's a list of other names, but I've also seen that some of these players are unlikely to land in LA for whatever reason. The price is going to be too high. It's not realistic. Don't forget this as well. Lakers got other things that they got to worry about, in the offseason. What's LeBron going to do with his contract? How much is he going to sign for? Austin Reeves is most likely going to opt out of his contract. He's going to decline his extension this summer so that he can get paid, because we all know that Austin Reeves is one of the most underpaid players in the NBA when you look at production versus what he does every single night, and then how much he's getting paid. He's basically getting paid between $13 and $15 million a year. $13 and $15 million a year for Austin Reeves. Like, I think we all understand that this man's about to get paid, and frankly, he deserves it. So you got to worry about what LeBron's going to do. You got to obviously pay and take care of Austin Reeves. Don't forget, you got to figure out Dorian Finney-Smith as well. I think DFS is going to be a Laker, and I think there's going to be plans to have him as a Laker long-term. But I think with that in mind, if they are going to have him as a Laker, obviously long-term, you got to be a little bit creative with how much you're going to be paying him. He's obviously a good friend of Luka Doncic. There's going to be a lot of these questions that are going to get answered, I think, in the offseason, but also keeping in mind that you got to go grab a big. You got to grab somebody that's obviously a key piece that you could try to add to this team. All right, I want to talk about one of our new sponsors, BetterHelp. Very, very happy to have them as a partner of Hoops Talk and the Sliwa Show. I know in our everyday lives, we are all going through something. For me, anxiety. I always have situations or predicaments where I'm overthinking things. I'm thinking things that are maybe work-related, but a lot of times it's more personal-related. Things that have nothing to do with my day-to-day job. Just your everyday living life, things that come up cause a lot of anxiety. And what do you do with it? Do you just kind of sit there and dwell in it? Do you get into your own head? Well, I usually do that. I actually was the one that tried initiating having a partnership with BetterHelp because I believe in therapy. I believe that talking to a professional and talking to somebody can actually genuinely help you. And it's something that's important for everybody. I come from a background where, hey, I don't know, push that down, or you know what? No, man up and take care of it. Well, there's other ways to cope with it. There's other ways to deal with it. And certainly it is to work with somebody at BetterHelp. Let me tell you guys some of the features that comes with BetterHelp. The majority of BetterHelp members seek support for anxiety, and 69% of members report improved anxiety symptoms after 6 weeks of therapy on BetterHelp. It's very, very easy to start. Just fill out a questionnaire and you'll match with a therapist in as little as a couple days. I started mine, BetterHelp now. It's been a little bit over a week now. There's group sessions there that you can be a part of. I did get matched up after I took the questionnaire, and it was perfect for me because they have a good idea of, okay, what's going on in my life? Why do I have anxiety? And they'll know exactly how to tackle. If you don't like the therapist that you have, no problem. No extra cost. You can switch it at any time. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Let my sponsor, BetterHelp, help you rule your anxiety so it doesn't rule you. Click betterhelp.com/Sliwa for a discount on your first month of therapy. Again, betterhelp.com/Sliwa for a discount on your first month of therapy. I really appreciate you guys listening to this partnership. I think it's very, very important, and hopefully it can help you as well. BetterHelp makes therapy simple with 10% off your first month to help you get started. BetterHelp.com/Sliwa. There's another way that the Lakers can go as far as routes go in order to get a big. It doesn't have to just be signing somebody in the offseason. You got some tradable contracts. You got some players. I know Gabe Vincent will be going into the final year of his contract. Maxi Kleba. Obviously, you have Dalton Connect. You still got those picks. Rui Hachimura. What are you going to do with Rui? That's kind of, and I'm not telling you should get rid of Rui, but I think that there are players on this roster. He'll be on an expiring contract as well that you could try to kind of clean up, I guess you could say, from a roster perspective. I think the biggest point that I'm trying to make is the Lakers won 50 games this year. And I know we're in the heart of the playoffs, but that's okay. They won 50 games this year. And even though they won 50 games and you know things are obviously still going the way that they're going, you still got needs in the offseason. You still got areas that you need to address. You still got clear priorities that the Lakers are going to have to, look at along with Rob Pelinka and see how this team can not just be a team that walks into the playoffs with a roster that has holes, but how can this roster be whole? How can it have everything it needs in order to make some real noise in the offseason? That I kind of find interesting and fascinating. And, part of the reason why I wanted to record this right now is we're getting an opportunity to see what the Lakers are doing night in and night out. We saw it in the regular season. We're seeing it in the playoffs now. And there are clearly areas where the Lakers have been beyond special of figuring out, hey, even with the lack of size, we could still have a ton of success. Even if LeBron's the biggest player on your team, or at times when Jackson Hayes is out, it's Vando or DFS or whoever. I mean, we obviously know from a height perspective what some of these guys bring to the table. But for me, the thing that I think I look at the most, and I want the Lakers to rebuild this offseason with Luka as obviously the main focal point and everything that Luka needs in order for this team to go on the type of run that it needs to. You've put together you got all these ingredients, and you're not sure if how the food is going to taste by the time it's all said and done, but you're doing the absolute best with the ingredients that you have, which I do think is obviously special, and it's kind of the position that the Lakers have put themselves in. But when you get to the offseason, clearly the Lakers got work to do. Rob Pelinka just got an extension. I think it was last week or within the last 10 days or so. We know obviously he's going to be a Laker for a long time, but the goal is to win championships. It's not just to make it to the playoffs. It's not just to win a round or two. And I give the Lakers grace in this. When you traded for Luka, you needed time to figure things out. But this summer, you've got enough now to see with this Lakers team since Luka became a Laker on February 1st, since they rescinded that trade for Mark Williams. As we sit here and you played the rest of the regular season, and as we're sitting here in the postseason, you've had enough to watch and to see where are the priorities for the Lakers that you really, really need to pay attention to and to focus on in order to be the team that you're obviously thriving to be, or you're hoping to be. And I think we got enough kind of answers to some of the questions of this Lakers roster, and hopefully it gives Rob Pelinka a great vision. I see Rob at obviously all these Laker games, and I'm sure this guy is saying to himself, man, how am I going to improve this roster? What am I going to do in the offseason to make sure that the Lakers are the favorites out of the Western Conference? Not just one of 4 or 5 teams that could come out. No. The West runs through the Lakers. Remember this. It ain't going to get any easier for the Lakers. Now, getting Luka is a completely different, nobody imagined that was going to be the case when you walked into 2025, when you're starting the new year. But where the Lakers are sitting now, San Antonio next year is going to have, hopefully, a healthy Victor Wembanyama. Hopefully, you're going to be in a position where De'Aaron Fox, some of these other guys, they got a young core of guys. Who knows what they're going to do in the offseason? Where's Kevin Durant going to go in the summer if he goes somewhere? How much better is Houston going to be if they add another piece? Oklahoma City Thunder are only, I don't need to tell anybody about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Some really, really good competitive teams in the Western Conference. And I think as the dust gets ready to settle, The big question mark that you're going to have with the Lakers, and I think this is what's going to be most exciting in the offseason, can you create a roster that this team all of a sudden becomes one of the favorites, not just one of the teams that's mixed in with 5, 7, 10 different teams that have a shot representing their conference? And the West, we know just kind of what a battle it is. So, yes, heart of the playoffs right now, but I think we're all thinking about what could this team be potentially in the offseason? What are the areas and the priorities the Lakers are going to have to focus on? And I think it all starts at that center spot, and it trickles down from there, and we'll see what the Lakers do for the rest of this roster. Hope you guys are enjoying the postseason. Hope you guys are enjoying this video. Thank you very much. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and thank you for hanging out. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.